Today we are going to talk about Fado in Lisbon, more specifically about Fado shows in the capital of Portugal. Fado is a traditional art form that developed mainly from Lisbon in the 19th century. It grew a long time and became popular to the point of being incorporated into the World Heritage when UNESCO recognized it as an intangible cultural heritage in 2011, recognizing Fado as a living testimony of Portugal's rich history, reflecting the fusion of diverse cultural influences. Today, Fado is part of the Portuguese identity, and as you walk around Lisbon, you will find many references to it. Fado combines music and poetry, guitars and singing. It is usually performed by a solo singer, who can be a man or a woman, accompanied by a classical guitar and a Portuguese guitar. Sometimes two singers join their voices. Fado songs deal with broken hearts, the longing for someone who is no longer there, of life's misunderstandings, and the stories of everyday life. We confess that although we love it, we are not Fado specialists. However, we have attended quite a few Fado shows over the years and have a pretty good idea of what tourists are looking for. In fact, many people looking for a recommendation for a Fado show ask us for a show that it is not for tourists. And here's the most fundamental lesson we have for you. Fado shows are for tourists, just like tango shows in Argentina or flamenco shows in Spain. There may be locals in the audience, but the shows are for tourists and the artists survive because of tourists. To see Fado outside the tourist circuit with the absolute certainty that the show will take place on a specific date, you would have to have a local contact to take you somewhere where there is a show that it's not for tourists. The fact that they are tourist shows means nothing, because there are excellent Fado shows just as there are shows of mediocre quality. What counts above all is the quality of the artists. And in the vast majority of Fado shows, the artists are good or very good. Fado performances take place in what are known as Casas de Fado, Fado houses, usually small venues with a raised stage and chairs in front. But there are also Fado performances in bars and restaurants where you may or may not be obliged to make a minimum consumption of food and drink. We always prefer performances without food because you usually end up paying dear for the food served. Most shows last about an hour. During this time there will be singing and instrumental parts. Of all the shows we have attended, we would like to recommend two Fado shows in the center of Lisbon, where we really enjoyed what we saw and heard. We paid for the tickets for each of the shows out of our own pocket. These were Fado in Chiado in Lisbon's traditional Fado house area and Lisboa in Fado in the Baixa neighborhood. The same metro station, Baixa Chiado, on the blue and green lines, is close to both directions. To get to Fado in Chiado, you will exit the station at the top in Chiado, while to get to Lisboa and Fado, you will exit at the bottom in Baixa. We bought the tickets for these two shows from our trusted partner Civitatis, as we show you now on the screen. Both tickets include free cancellation, but please read the conditions carefully. When you buy a product on Civitatis, we receive a small commission, while the price remains the same for you. But the reason we recommend the site is because we find it useful, practical, and easy to use. You will find the links to the two shows in the first comment below the video. In the case of the ticket for Lisboa in Fado, when we attended the performance, it included a glass of port wine, which is always appreciated. The structure of the show is always very similar: a stage, chairs for the audience, and a presentation of songs, mostly sung, with some instrumentals to better appreciate the virtuosity of the musicians. Fado in Chiado is bigger than Lisboa Fado, but in terms of performance, there are no major differences. For those who want to have a first contact with Fado without spending a lot of money, these are two options that we recommend without a moment's hesitation. A final comment: for those who do not understand Portuguese, it is logical that a Fado show where the sung word is fundamental ends up being a more difficult encounter with the art. The connection with the artists may still happen on some other level, but it will not be on the level of understanding what is being sung. Still, we wouldn't stop going to a Fado show simply because you don't understand Portuguese. We wanted to share these tips because there are always people who come around here and want to know where they can see a Fado performance. As always, if you have any questions, take advantage of the comment box to ask. We'll be happy to try to help you. Now you will see on the screen our collection of videos dedicated to the capital of Portugal. A very valuable material to help you prepare a delicious and perfect trip to Lisbon. We look forward to seeing you in those videos.